what's going on? So a little course change in plans. We are now headed to Washington, D.C. to go meet with the burn pit guys about a bill they're trying to pass. Seems to be pretty exciting and definitely veteran movement forward. So I'm going to go get some footage there, and I'm leaving Florida right now. I just got into Georgia, leaving Jacksonville Beach with the IW Reverend Warriors guys and the Run South Foundation guys doing a food drive for the junior enlisted military members in that local community, and then the Reverend Warriors Silky Hike through Jacksonville Beach. It was an absolutely wonderful weekend. Today is Monday, and me and Winona are currently driving north on 95 towards Washington, D.C. Sweet. Let's get there and get it done. See y'all in a bit. Good morning from Washington, D.C. We are at engine number 3, Fire EMS Museum, headed towards SCOTUS. Meeting up with the guys there. Just left the Hilton on Capitol Hill Boulevard. Parked the RV down at the bus station. And I am running a slight bit behind, but here we go. It's gonna be a good time. I'll get some good footage and I'll let you all see the action as it unfolds. All right, later now.
For something that your job's supposed to take care of. Like you were doing your job, so.
Yeah, I think the real villains of the story is the state of Texas.
Well, Texas. The world was watching them come out. It's like out of the goodness of their heart. Very often, as you well know. That was good. I mean, it's a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the restaurants.
Chairman, we thank you, the ranking member, and this committee for all of your efforts and hard work on the Cost of War Act and many other pieces of toxic exposure legislation. Today is National Vietnam War Veterans Day, and we are still discussing legislation that will impact veterans exposed to Agent Orange 50 years later. We recognize the service and sacrifice of Vietnam veterans, their families, and survivors. Mr. Chairman, we are at the precipice of a monumental event, solving the puzzle of comprehensive toxic exposure legislation for past, current, and future generations of veterans exposed to environmental hazards. As a nation, we have responded too slowly to provide health care and benefits for toxic exposed veterans. It took over 60 years to recognize diseases due to contaminated water at Camp Lejeune, 50 years for mustard gas exposure, 40 years for radiation exposure, and we're still adding diseases of location for Agent Orange exposed veterans 50 years later. There are thousands of veterans exposed to toxins and burn pits who we are already too late for. We recognize comprehensive toxic exposure legislation would increase VBA's workload, and we must be focused on solutions to mitigate these increases. We suggest VBA develop a plan now that considers the following mitigation strategies to include establish a unique end product code for all new presumptives added by new toxic exposure legislation, and implement a triage unit to address presumptives directly as they come into the VA. Also, they can use authorities similar to pre-stabilization ratings, administrative decisions, or memorandum ratings as well. These suggestions can be implemented under VBA's current authority.
Alright guys, so I completely forgot to film an outro for this video, and the reason being is it was very last minute. I had to drive all the way up to DC. Parking was horrendous. We were on Capitol Hill. I'm in the RV, of course, so I drove the RV all the way into DC, I had to find parking, went to the bus garage, a bunch of other stuff. I was very behind, didn't have everything together, and that's my fault. So next time I will do so much better. But sorry, Nonas. This is Nonas. Everybody say hi. So what I'm getting at is it was an amazing experience to be able to go up with Grunt Style, with Tim and with Dan, or Will, excuse me, not Dan. Sorry. With Will and Tim up to Washington, D.C. to sit on what to me will be a once-in-a-lifetime. Hopefully I can do it again, but it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This was so out of my wheelhouse, it's not even funny, and I appreciate it so much, and I hope that this gets a little more exposure, and this gets covered more, and more people realize the cause and effect of, you know, what we were exposed to in every war, from, you know, Vietnam to Korea to World War I to Iraq, Afghanistan, OIF, OEF, Desert Storm, so on and so forth, and the list goes on. It's endless. It's disgusting how much we've overlooked and how much we've honestly just kind of forgotten about the consequences of war, you know, and this really does help with so many veterans and stories that have been unheard, and I hope it gets heard, and I hope this does at least a small or even a large impact would be great, but in any impact, I just want the story to be heard, and I hope this if it's not educational enough on the topic, I hope that you can now go look into it, research it even, and kind of get your own understanding of it, because there's a lot to it, and I've learned a lot in the last few weeks, and the ability to show up and just kind of have a front row seat to this was amazing, and I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. I was stopped in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and then we rolled on down to New Braunfels, Texas. We are currently in San Antonio. Believe we're gonna go to the Dallas-Fort Worth hike. Hopefully by the time we post the Dallas-Fort Worth hike, everything has been caught up to date, and we'll be posting weekly from there. But me and Nona look forward to seeing you at the next hike or the next event, depending on what comes first. Yeah, have a great night. Thanks for watching.